So given that the ethics are the generally considered standards of what's good and right, or good and wrong and bad, or what's right and wrong in a society, and the morality is what you think that is good or not. It wasn't imposed by an outside group, but it's your own way of thinking. There are there could be like a personal of code of ethics of what will be good for a person to do, or what you think that will be not accepted of a good person. Well, for example, in my case, I think a good person should not harm others as soon as it's not being hurt himself. Or, for example, I like to have this philosophy in my life, which is don't do to others what you don't want people to do to you. And care for the others, care for for the nature, care for the people, care for the animals, care, be empathetic, try to put in the shoes of the other every once in a while. And the most important thing is love yourself. If you can love yourself, you have a lot of love to share. It's difficult sometimes because when you don't love yourself, you kind of sometimes don't know how to manage things, and maybe you could be hurting the others. So if you love yourself, it will be a great start in a code of ethics. What do you think?
Okay, so in my case, I have a not funny story, but um, when I was like a teenager, I used to be like almost atheist, not atheist, but agnostic, because I had like a lot of experiences. Like I have known some experiences about my like family and friends, etc. So I couldn't like accept all the standards and all the rules that had the Catholic Church in our case. I mean, as Colombian people, which is a big part of our culture since like long time back. So it was it passed like long time since I didn't believe in anything. I mean anything like religious. So then I met someone and from the other side, and I started like learning some other ways of living, which is related with other kind of system. But I've discovered that in the end, like religious or any code that you want to follow, in the end it has like the same essential things, and it's essential values, like universal values, like respect, like honesty, like solidarity, etc. So of course there is a difference in the doctrine, the way you follow that like way or that path. So I think if we try to be more open, I mean, like, mm, how to say, like intellectually and in a spiritual way, or also, and we try to understand how the world works. So it's going to be like better. I think everything is about like understanding, because a lot of the things that had happened through history, um, it's because of misunderstanding, because of power, because this how to say that, the way the people wants to control, some people want to control others. So if we try to understand in order to have a great life, I think that's my like ethic code. What do you think, Laura? Laura.
Okay. But about me, I think the main values is respect and tolerance. Why? Because, for example, me, you give an example. I'm living in another country. So I know that here are different situations, like I have in my real life in Colombia, for example.
Mhm.
So for I need to respect every decision that with the person that I live, they take. Yes. So, and tolerance is because sometimes I don't know what happened here, but the people is like, it's my decision and it's universal. My decision is only the truth. So I need to be tolerant because maybe they don't know what is the real truth or what is the real situation. So, and I don't want to make or cooking a problem with
Mhm.
them. So it's like I need to be tolerant with their decisions. I need to be respectful in their actions or whatever. So that's for me are my main values in my ethic code. But we have to know that the ethical code has values and laws. But in laws, that depends. I don't know. What do you think, Laura, about the laws?
Well, I'm sorry. What do you mean with the laws?
It's like, yes, you have to have values, but it's like norms that you have to follow for living a community.
Well, in a code of ethics for like a good person, I don't think that there should be a law. Like, if you are a good person, you are respectful. Because sometimes you are a very good person, the whole time you are a good person, and for some reason you were not respectful with someone. It
Uh,
doesn't make you a bad person. It
no,
just it was the situation. Or what do you mean?
I mean rules. For example, with in the road, you need to drive in your light side, in your right side. Yes. So if
Yes.
drive in the left, maybe you made an accident. So that kind of rules. If you
Okay. Well,
follow the rules, you have respect for other people and blah blah blah.
okay. In that case, well, due to we're talking generally about life, I would say that the rules for not for being a good person will be like the taboos. Don't do any taboo. Like there are folkways, there are mores, and there are taboos. So, for example, one of the taboos we saw on the video was cannibalism. So, of course, a person who does that is not a good person at all. In all around the world, you won't be a good person
You,
because
I think, sorry, Lau,
yeah.
I have to
Maybe
think
no.
about that. I think that's kind of relative because, for example, we have an example here in Colombia when, like some time ago, some decades ago, when these murders used to do this kind of stuff for drugs and for narcos, etc. They used to have a virgin. Do you remember that? Like La Virgen de los Sicarios? They used to like make the sign and they asked to the virgin to like do the job like in a good way. And for them, it was a job to do the job, to do the murder in order to get some money to like I don't know, provide his family or their family. So in their minds, it's a very complex. I think it's a complex um, issue or a complex subject because you never know what happened in their mind, the people's mind. There are other like factors. There are other factors that applies. For example, someone which is who is not empathetic. For example, and I'm talking about psychological stuff. So, for example, in the last decades, a lot of research has been like shown that, for example, what people used to believe some decades ago, like the virgins, like spirits, like blah blah blah, today is schizophrenia, for example. But in religions, that's what people believe, and today it's not possible that you to believe in someone that says, no, I've seen the Virgin, I've seen Jesus, whatever. Yeah. But some years ago it was like something mystical, and you know what I mean.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, and I do mean and about that, like culture makes you do different things, of course. So, for example, here we think it's not respectful to, for example, like talk or eat in front of a dead body. Like it's not respectful. If you're going to a funeral, you can eat. But if you go to
I
Asia,
know some people that do that.
and
Culture,
some
there
if you
are
go to Asia, they eat for many years. They have a huge party. I saw the other day on Netflix and everything. They have a huge party and they're eating and having
A big
talking
party,
in
yeah.
front of the dead body,
Mm,
and that's okay for them. But for us, it will be like, what are you doing? That's wrong.
exactly.
yes,
Yeah.
and that
So
is
It's
but
so
wait,
related.
wait,
Hmm.
just wait a moment, please. So I'm gonna say like the thing is like, yeah, there are good and bad things, and that change across the time, and changes those change also due to
And
cultural
depending on the
stuff.
cultures, yeah.
But there are some general stuff like you should not do that. Like if you're a good person, in your mind will like something like that will never show. Like you will never think about that. Like or you never do something like that. So for
Not like
example,
killing
if I am a good
someone, like
person, I will
raping a child,
never
something like that.
discriminate because that's not respectful. Because it's a person, and as I love myself, I love the other person, and I take care of the other, and I don't like him to feel bad for something that is just him. So I should not discriminate it. So that's a good person. So there are general stuff, and there are like some things that are according to culture. So what's good, what's wrong, and all that.
But guys, we have to know that exists a lot of cultures around the world, and each culture a has each codiate. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
code.
Their own codes, yeah.
Yes, it's
That's
like
true. Yeah, sorry. Finish, sorry.
um, I forgot. Continue.
Sorry. No,
Okay.
what I wanted to say is that there are also some stuff that is so intrinsic, I don't know how to say that, like it's so like between lines in our own culture that we don't really know if it is good or bad. We don't really know because it's so immersed in our cultural background and in our cultural behavior. For example, when you say um, when you are good cooking, like for female, when you are good at cooking, no, you are ready for getting married. Today is not okay saying that, even if some people just do it because of fun or because of, you know, or when you call someone like a black person, you go, oh, my mi negro, for example, in Spanish. So for
Yeah.
us, it's okay. I mean, you have like black people, which is your friend, and you used to say negrito or negro or whatever. Yeah, because you have that, and it's depending on the person also. Because I have some friends that have said, no, it's okay for me because negro is not a thing, you know, is what I am.
About
Yeah,
that,
but some other
uh,
people says, no,
I
it's
had
not
the
okay, blah blah.
I had the other day that talk with a girl, and it was like they didn't even introduce us. She just got to our little group, and they were like, "Oh, hi, Nera, how are you?" and everything. And I was just like so confident, and I'm like, "Okay, Nera, so tell me, what do you do?" So and another person tells me, "You guys are not friends. Why are you telling her Negra?" And I'm like, because that's how they're calling you. I'm sorry, they never introduced you. I don't know your name. I'm Laura." And she was like, don't worry at all, because I know you're not saying it wrong, because I feel it. I feel when someone's being raised. I feel when someone's being bad. It's just about the bad thoughts. And
But
she said like, because they're like,
when do you
oh,
know that line? How do
yeah,
you know
but she told me that
where to cross
it
that
was
line?
because of the tone. She told me like, oh, come on, like people tell her like, oh, Negra, ¿y usted qué hace? Like that's something very different. Like, why do you do nigga? It's very different when you're like,
Really.
hey, how are you? We're friends and whatsoever. So, but those are the strict lines that you're talking
Yeah.
about, yeah? That makes you be like, or a good person or a bad person in such a tiny moment like that. But
Mm,
yeah, it's very interesting that.
yeah.
The last day I was talking with the person that I live, that they asked me about the decisions about the person's color, race, age, female or man. Say, what do you think? What do you want in your company? Black people, white people, mestizo people, man, woman. It's like, what about that? Why you ask me that kind of question? That makes no
Nonsense.
sense for me.
It's like a catalog, like a model stuff.
Here, the persons has in their blood like racism very much, so they
Yeah.
don't are tolerant with another persons. Like for me,
Yeah.
is normal.
To them, is what I was saying. Like to them, maybe in their minds, in their cultural background, like in their like normal, I don't know, day and in a daily life, it's like normal. Saying like I mean, my grandma and my even my parents, they sometimes make some like comments that I say, oh, like, hey, mom, watch out, you shouldn't say that, But it's so spontaneous, like, yeah, that gay or that marica or that
Mm.
whatever. So it's like, hey, come on, like, calm down. Yeah. But why we have she asked me that, like, but we have seen that for so long, for it's so difficult that today everything is so difficult. So it's not difficult because, well, okay, it's a big discussion.
So
Okay, well, to conclude, maybe like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been like we're talking like 17 minutes now. Okay, so we've been talking for long. I would say like Laura says that what's most important, being respectful and tolerant. When says that it is very important to understand the other, be empathetic. Like
Hmm.
understanding is the code, is the key for
Hmm.
everything. And I'd say like love,
At
love
least
is the
trying.
key. And don't harm, like nor you nor the others. Don't harm, nor the nature and animals. Nothing. Don't harm. So that's a very nice and interesting quote, and we could all keep doing in our lives.
Okay, guys,
okay,
thank you
bye.
very
Girls,
much.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.